Howdy folks, Anthony here. I finally found him. I saw him on the Goulet Pens Facebook group, and it's the fountain pens that you can pick up from Dollar Tree for $1.25. There were 3 different designs, and I was able to find 2 of those at my local Dollar Tree. Took a little while. The stock at Dollar Tree can be pretty hit and miss of what they actually carry versus other stores and other locations. So we have these here. They'll come with the pen itself and then 2 cartridges in each design. We'll take a closer look at these. I haven't opened them up yet, and see how well they write for $1.25. Switching to the overhead camera here, we've got 2 different designs from the Dollar Tree pens here. We have one that has watermelons on it, top and bottom, the cap and barrel of the body. This one has various leaf patterns on it, mainly in blue and green, with a little bit of yellow accent in there. So we'll get these opened up and get a cartridge installed in each and see how well they write. Taking a closer look at the pen itself, it has a Lamy style nib that is marked as an extra fine. It is a very lightweight plastic. So we'll go ahead and get the cartridge installed here and give it some time to soak in. Snap fit cap. Again, similar clip design to the Lamy as well. I'll go ahead and get a cartridge installed on the other one. That way we can do both of the writing samples at the same time. Another thing to note is the back of the packaging does come with instructions on how to install the cartridge, so even for beginners who may have never used a fountain pen, they should be able to get it up and running following these instructions. So I've allowed some time for these to saturate the feeds. We'll give this a writing sample. Got the watermelon one here, which just so happened to be the one I installed the cartridge in first. So on this one here, it is a fine line, as you can see here. A little bit heavy on the feedback, a bit more than a sharpened pencil, so it's a little more feedback than I personally prefer, but it isn't catching the paper or feeling like it's going to snag or tear anything, so it's not as though it's horribly misaligned out of the box. Something I noticed when first writing, these pens have a unique section for the grip here. The Lamy pens have a triangular grip section, which helps you orient the pen and keep it from rotating as you write. These pens, the way that you can orient them is each one has a divot with a little dimple sticking out on the right hand side of the nib, which would happen to be where your first finger would likely go. And it's got a bit of a textured grip on this side around that, as well as on the left side where your thumb would go. So it's quite easy to orient this pen, even though the grip section is on the smaller side in comparison to a lot of pens. Switching over to the other design. This one should have had enough time to soak in as well. This one seems to write a bit drier than the first, and it does have a little bit more tooth to it even compared to the first pen, but this could just be because it's writing a bit drier. Again, the same design on the grip section, and then something I noticed while capping and uncapping these, they are a snap fit cap, and they snap quite securely, but it is not a particularly satisfying snap. It requires quite a bit of force to snap and unsnap it. And I did try some converters to see if they would fit. I have this one here that came out of a Hongdian Forrest pen, and it fits in there no problem. So you would be able to use a converter once you ran out of the ink cartridges. So for $1.25, would these be worth picking up? Really depends. Out of the two of these, one of them wrote adequately enough, and the other one isn't quite what I would consider a good writing experience. The designs are bright and colorful and look well printed. The only downside is there's an obvious seam where the pattern starts and stops and doesn't match up very nicely, especially on the watermelon one here. The other design, since it's much busier, is much less obvious where that is. So for the experienced user, these are a fun design, super lightweight, very inexpensive, so you could definitely toss it in a bag or purse and not be worried about it being damaged. The caps go on quite securely, so I wouldn't be too worried about those popping off. And for beginners, this is one I could see you potentially getting frustrated. The instructions on the back are plenty clear to get you started, so at least I don't think you would get hung up there, which is a common problem with a lot of pens you pick up. They come with no instructions and sometimes no ink or ink cartridges to get you started, and you have a pen and don't know what to do with it. These you'd at least know how to get started, but with the two that I got at least, one of them's a bit scratchier than I'd like, but would be adequate. The other one here, what I would consider not unusable, but definitely unpleasant. But for $1.25, what can you really expect? So if you happen to have a Dollar Tree in your area, it wouldn't hurt to check and see if they have these just for fun. And if you're looking for inexpensive fountain pens that I've personally at least had a better track record with, the ones from Five Below, while costing a few dollars more, will, at least in my experience, provide a much better writing experience. And if you're interested in those as well, I'll have a link to the videos of the reviews I did for those over here.